Let's jump right in, shall we? Welcome to this explainer. If you just look around right now, modern wellness culture, it is utterly exhausting. We are constantly being told to stack our habits, track a dozen different metrics on our wrists, take, I don't know, 40 different supplements, and somehow magically squeeze in a cold plunge before 6 a.m. It's a lot. It is completely overwhelming. But today, we're totally cutting through all that noise to look at a brilliantly straightforward framework from our source material called the HC model approach. Instead of this endless, exhausting cycle of biohacking and fatigue, this model strips everything right back down to the absolute fundamentals of what actually makes us healthy right now.
So how do we actually understand health today? It's a massive question, right? Because our environment right now is completely unprecedented. We're navigating 10-hour desk shifts bathed in blue light, endless streams of notifications, and this baseline level of hyperconnectivity that frankly our evolutionary biology just was not built for. With all these moving parts, trying to grasp what health actually means can totally feel like trying to hit a moving target. But what if the best way to understand our well-being isn't through a million different biometric data points, but through one single, elegant equation? Well, that is exactly what the HC model sets out to do.
And here it is. The core equation of the HC model approach is profoundly, almost shockingly simple. Investment minus depreciation equals health capital. That's it. Just let that sink in for a second. Instead of viewing health as some mystical state of being or, a vague feeling of wellness, this model actually asks us to look at it like a strict accountant evaluating a ledger. You've got what you deposit, what you spend, and the final asset you're left with. It's a pretty sobering thought, really. I mean, think about it. If your financial bank account looked anything like your weekly sleep schedule, would you be bankrupt by Tuesday? This beautifully minimalist equation captures the entire essence of human well-being in our modern era.
Okay, let's isolate that first variable for a minute, investment. Now, in this framework, an investment isn't just some vague good intention. It represents the literal positive inputs, both physically and psychologically, that are actively added into your health equation. We are talking about actual, tangible deposits into your biological bank account. This means getting a solid block of REM sleep, eating a truly nutrient-dense meal, putting in 30 minutes of Zone 2 cardio or resistance training, or, honestly, even just taking a 20-minute walk without your smartphone. Every single one of these actions is a direct quantifiable addition to your systemic well-being.
But as we all know, no ledger only has deposits. And that brings us to the second half, depreciation. This represents the losses that are subtracted from your health equation. Depreciation is basically the inevitable wear and tear of modern existence. Just like a car loses value over time, our bodies and minds experience heavy daily taxes. And we aren't just talking about the natural passing of time here. No, we're talking about the massive cortisol spikes from your morning doom scrolling. We're talking about the physiological toll of sitting perfectly still in a chair for 9 hours, exposure to environmental pollutants, or that fractured sleep architecture you get from staring at screens late at night. These are the inevitable forces that are actively pulling away from your total.
So this creates an active, really relentless push and pull dynamic at the very heart of the HC model. On one side, you've got investments building the asset up, and on the other, depreciation draining it right back down. And man, here is where we so often fall into a trap. We tend to think one massive investment completely cancels out a dozen bad habits. Like, we'll go and crush a heavy, exhausting hour at the gym, which is a great investment for sure, but then we follow it up with 8 hours of high-stress sedentary work, heavily processed food, and maybe 5 hours of terrible sleep. We pat ourselves on the back for the workout while completely ignoring the massive depreciation that just followed. The math simply doesn't lie. In that scenario, your balance sheet for the day is a net negative. Health is this active, ongoing tension between these two forces. Now, when you synthesize all these inputs and outputs, you finally arrive at the ultimate bottom line. Step 3, your health capital. Health capital isn't just a fleeting mood. It's not that temporary burst of energy you get after a strong cup of coffee. It is the real, tangible, biological asset that you have built over time. It's your physical resilience when you catch a bug. It's the strength of your immune system, and that deep cognitive bandwidth you absolutely need to solve complex problems. It's your ultimate capacity to live and perform. This framework makes it crystal clear that your capital isn't magically just given to you, it is mathematically earned. It's the unavoidable result of the positive investments you make, minus the daily depreciation you tolerate. Which brings us to our final, and honestly perhaps our most important reflection today. What does your health capital actually look like right now? Now that you have this simple but incredibly powerful paradigm, it's time to apply it to your own life. When you evaluate your daily ledger, are you making enough substantial, positive investments to offset the massive natural depreciation of the modern world? Is your capital actually growing?
or is it shrinking? So before you go to bed tonight, I challenge you to really audit your day. Did you end up in the green, or are you operating on borrowed health? Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Now go out there and build your capital.